is the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show. Dr. Meleeka has a background as a clinical psychologist, actress, director, model, and human rights activist. The Dr. Meleeka Clary Show will help move you towards bettering the quality of your life with positive psychology. So please welcome your host, Dr. Meleeka Clary.
Welcome to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show on the Bold and Brave TV network, where we're coming live on the Bold and Brave TV network. Thank you, my friends. Thank you. I hope everybody's having a wonderful week and weekend to come. Today, we have an extraordinary guest today, and he is a gospel singer, a hip hop artist. He has worked with many big names out there, just to mention a few: Janet Jackson, Madonna. I can go on and on. But here we go here. Not just that. He has wrote and produced the song Save the Children, and you got to listen to that song. Oh, it just gets you. His mission is all about you. You're going to hear his story today, and I just think that you're going to be very touched, because I was. Because my segment, my show is all about positive psychology and how we can fight against mental illness. You got to hear his story, and I'm just so pleased that he agreed to join my show. So be with me, friends. Come on in, as I welcome Mr. Prophet Dwayne Omar to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show. Welcome, my
Thank
friend.
you.
Welcome, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for agreeing to be on my show. And as you know, is that my show is developed, well, surrounded around positive psychology and things what people do, and also the entertainment industry, because we're all human beings and we're all doing something. But
Hmm.
before I get into all those hats and all those wonderful things that you do, I want to know about you. And this is my question for you, because many people know of you, including myself. I did my research, but I don't know how you identify who you are. So, can you explain to me what and how and who are you to you?
At my core, that's a great question. I think that's the first time somebody asked me that, except for with my first marriage, when I went to marriage counseling. I think that counselor asked me something similar to that, but that's the first time someone actually asked me that outside of that setting. And over the years, I've discovered that I'm in the category of what you call a rescuer. When I see, like, for instance, even as a child, I remember I heard somebody calling my mother out her name because she was telling some young guys to get off the stoop on Columbia Road smoking weed and it's coming in the window. We lived on the first floor.
Mhm.
And I was sleeping in a little room up in the front. And I heard somebody say, "Shut up, you black bee." And I just woke up out of my sleep. I
Wow.
was 9 years old. I ran outside. I was concerned that they were big teenage boys. That's when I seen, because he disrespected my mother. My mother was yelling, "Wayne!" She called me Wayne. "Get back in the house, get back," because she thought I was gonna get jumped by the kids, right? But that was all abandoned because I was defending her honor. And then over the
Mhm.
years, I kept having those type of episodes where, say a woman getting battered or something, and I could have put my life in danger, but I didn't consider that. I just looked at someone being harmed, and I wanted to intervene. And then fast forward about 10 years ago, another minister said, "You know what? You're a rescuer." And I said, "What is that?" "You're bent towards trying to fix a problem even when it's not yours." So at my core,
Mm.
that's who I am. And it plays out
Okay.
in other things. That's why throughout my whole career, I've never recorded any lyrics that are damaging to the soul. Never. Even when it wasn't gospel, I wouldn't call a woman out of her name. I wouldn't tell somebody they couldn't do something, because who am I? I didn't create them. I can't tell them what they can do. Their potential is based upon their gift, and if they want to, manifest it enough, they want to work it. So I'm a
Wow.
rescuer.
Rescue. I love that terminology, rescuer. You know what? And you mentioned something, and when you said Columbia Road, I know you're from Boston, Massachusetts originally.
Yeah, I grew up JP Projects, and we left there when I was about 8, moved to 1857 Columbus Ave, moved from there to 455 Columbia Road in Dorchester, and until I
Wow.
moved out of my mother's place when I was about 18, 19, that's where I resided,
Oh,
right up the
wow.
street from
Yes.
Upton's Corner.
Okay.
Hmm.
Well, I have to get a shout out to Boston because I'm from Boston too.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
have
that's right,
great
right,
people. I'm
that's
from
right.
Mattapan, but they have great people in
Mhm.
Boston, and
Oh
I'm
yeah,
just
I
so
got family
I'm.
there.
Yes, you mentioned a protector too. Let me ask you. I mean, when you think about protecting, what do you do that it makes you stand out from others? And I mean, like you family man too.
Absolutely.
Okay.
6 children, 11 grandchildren. Hmm.
Wow. So you
And of
basically
course,
have. Go
yeah,
ahead. What was you gonna say?
yeah, I'm just saying, yeah, and the husband, of course, yeah. Hmm.
Okay. And when you say that, many people they have like a belief system or who they I say pray because I'm religious. And my question to
Hmm.
you is that where is your faith? How do you get up in the morning even if it's not a day that you want to get up? And how do you know what?
Hmm.
Because I know this question is going to be really deep. And before we do that, I'm going to take a brief commercial and we are going to be
Okay.
right back with Prophet Dwayne Omar on the Dr. Meleeka Clary show on the Bold and Brave TV network. Friends, don't leave. Stay tuned.
What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick, Wednesdays 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave Media Network and TuneIn Radio. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them. We discover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
Welcome back to the Dr. Meleeka Clary show on the Bold and Brave TV network. Thank you, my friends. We are still with Prophet Dwayne Omar, and we was just about to get into something about a belief system because, my show is connected with psychology and positive psychology. And I like to know when you wake up in the morning, do you just feel like this is great, I'm good? Or what is your remedy of trying to deal with any challenge that it's going to happen that day. And how do you feel when you get up in the morning, and what's your belief system?
My belief system comes from how I was raised, because I believe that sometimes, I mean, we all have great days and sometimes not so great days, and I believe that anxiety and the residue from the previous day could fall on you like it falls on the car, and you got to cleanse yourself before you put your feet on the floor in the morning. So, me personally, what I do as I ask the Lord to cleanse my spirit, man. And if there's anything in me that's not pleasing to Him, take it off. I don't want to have a bad attitude with folks, which is easy to do because we live in this flesh,
Yes.
and it's subject. Attitudes are subject to change. But I believe what the Word of God says. When it says, "Let this mind be in you that was also in Christ Jesus," reason for that is because I believe that, like he said, we were fearfully and wonderfully made, and he made a deposit of gratuitous
Mm,
gifts and endowments in each individual. Some have, like, for instance, they have like a knack for sports. Even though I was
yeah.
tall, I'm 6'4", my son's 6'6". Now he can dunk a
Wow.
basketball. I never could. That was never my thing. I'd rather go to the music room and play piano, like play over 12 instruments. Last time I counted was in the teens, but some stuff I don't play anymore just because I just don't own those instruments anymore. But um, part of I lean in one direction, and certain things are easier to me than maybe some folks, and some other folks lean in another direction. Um, I try to stay balanced because I recognize that I was not meant to do everything. And just because you know how to do something does not mean you always should. Um,
Mm,
so I pray in the morning. My wife and I kind of have you can call it a ritual, but we kind of cleanse ourselves in the morning and ask the Lord to give us traveling mercy and grace, because we don't know who we're going to run out to when we get out in that intersection and get in that traffic. And, I'm going in one direction and she's going in another direction. She's been working with the court system for almost 20 years. So, you
mm,
get all kind of folks coming in and out of there, and
mhm.
me in ministry and in music industry, you run into all kinds of personalities as well. So we just try to keep ourselves fluid. So no matter what comes, we're like they say back in the Pentecostal days, we are so oily in the Holy Ghost that we can flow. It don't matter what it is. We're not gonna let anything move us in any direction one way or the other, because we understand that there's always somebody watching. So
Wow.
even if we don't
Yeah.
feel like it, we have to set an example, because it could be a matter of life and death for some folks.
Yes.
Some people are
Wow.
having like crazy road rage now that I used to never see. You know, one of my
Wow.
neighbors has a friend who's doing time now for that very reason. Someone cut her off in traffic, and it was a day she just wasn't having it. She got out the car, ran her mouth, and the lady ran over and stabbed her. So
Wow.
you, you,
Oh
you have to
my.
keep a balance. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you
We
have
need
to
God's
be
grace.
careful. You wouldn't think that people would.
Yes.
I mean, granted, people do things like that. You think that it's just a normal
Yeah.
world, but right now we're not normal. I mean, you don't know
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
other person's day is like. I mean, they may be going through something that
Exactly.
you caught in the crossfire with, that because they could have lost somebody, they could have, just lost their job, and you get out mad and
Happen
go
every day.
ahead and they
Yeah.
let you have it.
That's
See,
the
you
fuel that
can't
they
do
needed.
that,
That's
you
what they were
know.
looking for. Yeah. You can't. Mm-mm. You're right.
So that's very
Absolutely.
sad.
Some people, that's the fuse. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Uh,
unfortunately, that is terrible. You said some interesting things to me right now that I realized that, when you talk about the music industry, because you know a lot of people in the music industry, and I think you have
yeah.
some relatives as well that you're
Oh
in the
yeah.
music industry, some big
Oh yeah.
names.
Yeah.
Okay.
The first instrument I ever received was a harmonica that my uncle BB King gave me, is
And I
late
love
BB
his
King.
music. Mm-hmm.
And when I was 9 years old, he gave me a harmonica, and I didn't really recognize the value of what he gave me at the time because I wanted to play bass. But later on, I ended up playing harmonica, and then bass became like my main instrument for a while. And Tina Turner's a second cousin. And when I
Oh
was
my
growing up, I
goodness.
thought
He puts a
everybody's
good
family
show.
was like that. I didn't think it was a big deal. Yeah. I it's like, I mean, I thought everybody's family was like that. It was no biggie. It wasn't until I got in high school where folks started to make a big deal, because I never really dropped names like that because I was talking about the other uncles and cousins like that. So it wasn't until people, they kind of enlightened me and they said, you know how big your cousin is? I said, oh, okay, now I see why they're acting like that. Okay, still cousin, still uncle to me, But
Oh,
and then not through blood, but because of relationship, Ralph Tresvant is the uncle of my two oldest children, Portia and Dwayne Jr. Yeah,
oh, and
so
that's from New
Ralph from New
Edition,
Edition, so it
right?
was kind
Ra-
of
Ralph Trevin from New Edition.
yeah, yeah,
Wow. Oh
yeah.
my
So my
goodness. So,
oldest daughter is Portia, hmm
hmm so you have a lot of
and then
musicians
and then
around you.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. It's always been that way. Yeah. It's it's healthy because that's what I do, you know.
Hmm. Yes.
And like-minded individuals usually flock together anyway, one way or another.
Yes. Let me ask you a question. You said something about the entertainment industry
Sure.
and, having all these relatives. What can you tell me? Because let's say we have a viewer who wants to get into entertainment industry. Would you think that it's such an easy process? I mean, if there's something that you have learned and you had to do it all over again, what would be that? And sharing is caring. So I want my people out there to be prepared. Maybe it wouldn't happen, but still to be prepared because there's always something. You know what?
Right.
I know this is not going to be an easy question. So we're going to take a brief break and we will come back and you can answer
You got
that
it.
question, Prophet Dwayne Omar.
You got it.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, friends. We will be right back with the Dr.
Mm.
Meleeka Clary Show on the Bold and Brave TV network. Stay tuned, my friends.
Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality, but it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating? Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like it was almost instant, like I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. It feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic on the BBM Global Network, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of The Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on The Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Welcome back to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show on the Bold and Brave TV network, friends. Welcome back. Before we left, we were talking to Prophet Dwayne Omar, and we were about to get into maybe some information that will help a newer artist. that wants to join into the entertainment industry? And what kind of challenges that you went through just in that? I mean, I know there's many, but there's some that just stayed with you and you were like, really? So can you just let me know a couple of those?
Yeah, that's actually much easier to answer now than if you would ask me that 30 years ago. Because once upon a time, I didn't realize uh, what the majority of the pre-wiring in the industry is. It's just like politics. And I would say to a new up and coming artist is, number one, make sure that's your calling. Make sure that's what you're supposed to be doing. Because if you're supposed to do that, if you were born to do that, then there are going to be certain winds that will blow in your favor. But number two, you're going to need a team. There's no just because you don't see anyone who's successful from Luther all the way back. Well, you look behind the folks that's behind them, you say, oh, they had a team. There's certain people on your team that should be good at marketing. There should be someone who's a facilitator who will not take no for an answer. I remember when I started, I used to press 12-inch singles and out the back of my mother's station wagon, and I would go to the one stops and the moms and pops like Skippy White's and Nubian Notions and all these
Oh,
spots.
yes, I know
And
Skippy
in some
White.
cases, I would give, yeah. I would give them clean. They, I want to get on your chart, and so I want to treat this record like it's already hot. I'm putting posters in the windows. And I would always make sure, because I'm a male, I would always make sure that there were attractive pictures on the posters so the girls can steal them and take them, and then we just put some more up because that's marketing. Um,
Yes.
and third, I would say there are uh, maybe a handful of facilitators like myself now that have assembled teams for people, pre-assembled teams,
Mhm.
which basically they can hire as consultants. Like, for instance, Melanie Andrews, who wrote Let's Wait a While for Janet Jackson. She wrote for Jasmine Guy, Earth, Wind and Fire. We just did an album together with Take Six. She's on the team. Far as I got two engineers. One did Jay-Z, Beyonce, and he did Justin
Mhm.
Timberlake outside of the Atlanta studio. And on the West Coast, where it's funny, a lot of people like to record at the studio on the West Coast because they got the Michael Jackson shrine there. But
Mhm.
where the engineer has worked with Dr. Dre, David and Tamala Mann, Suave. He also worked with me on the Ralph Tresvant project, and we call it Project Dominion. When someone knows
Mhm.
exactly what they want, and they just need the right team, because everybody comes with their own credentials and their own connections. And I'm kind of like, the puppet master of that whole thing. So, if there's somebody really serious, and if they either have an investor or already have a budget, it's just a matter of
Yes.
them being walked through the doors that are already open. That's it. It's no more
Wow.
looking for a door and wasting money looking for a door. No, the doors, we have the doors. We've been, and the attorney that I actually, entertainment attorney that I've been working with him for almost 40 years. And he did Eric Clapton, Fleetwood Mac, Bon Jovi, Jimi Hendrix, the Jacksons. I can go on and on and on. But what I'm saying is I brought together some pros that got friends. And there's not a person who is worth knowing in the industry that we don't know. I remember when I personally auditioned for Ahmet Adigan, the Turkish
Mhm.
guy who signed Aretha Franklin back in the day. They put it together for
Wow.
me to go sit down on the piano and audition for him, and that's how I got my deal with Capitol, and I got my deal with EMI when I was just like 22 years old. I bypassed a lot of the
Wow.
BS and went straight to, and you need people like that. So I said, when I get in position, which I am now, I'll do that for folks that are worthy. Take them straight to the source. These are people that they don't want to hear about what you want to do. What have you been doing? What can we measure it by? Okay, if
There
you've
you
done
go.
that much measured success on your own, if we plug you in a big machine, it can only be bigger. And that's how it is.
There you go. Wow. Now that's interesting. I like that. You take them directly to the source and, get some information,
Yeah,
and I say that because,
yeah,
when you're in the entertainment industry, everybody will say, hey, we're this, we're that. And you find out you're
Yeah.
not this or you're that. You know what I
It's
mean?
not that. Right. 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 Yeah.
And because
Yeah.
when you don't know about the industry, you're thinking, oh, they know this person or they know this, and but you don't know, so you're prone to be taken advantage. You know what I mean?
Of
and
course.
and and
Of course.
everybody can promise something. Anybody can promise something. I mean, I think I got burned a couple of times, and you mentioned
Understood.
something that yeah, you learn, you know what I mean? It's a learning process.
Hmm.
But what's really
Hmm.
interesting that you mentioned you have an entertainment lawyer. What about contracts? A lot of
Hmm.
people get really into that and they just fall down with the contracts because you
Yeah.
want to be famous, but you don't understand. Have you ever experienced anything with a bad contract and you was just like, mm-mm, I did not know this, but
Well,
you learned the hard
I've
way?
turned down more. Yeah, yeah. But I was fortunate enough to have a mindset, even as a teenager. I thought I was going to be a corporate lawyer when I was in school because I used to walk around with my briefcase and a suit. I never even wore athletic gear in high school, as my mindset was on business. So when I discerned that the music business is called business for a reason, I read this book called This Business of Music when I was in my teens, and I ended up working with one of the authors of the book,
Mhm.
Jerry Brenner. And if you Google him, he comes up in another book called The Hitman. And because in the 70s and 80s, it talks about the payola and all that kind of stuff, Frankie Crocker and all that stuff back in the day. So I recognize that the contract is pertinent, but it's only as good as the person who you sign with, because there are some people that will put everything you want on paper too, but they will not follow through.
Right.
So
That's
you kind of
right.
got to have both, because if you working with people that you know you can trust, then what the ink that they submit for you to sign or vice versa, then you know it's worth something. It's worth the paper that's written on. But I had, for instance, to give an example.
Oh, wait,
I won't name
before
his
you,
name, but an associate
oh,
of mine just did a $90 million deal.
Mi-
Go ahead.
before you go there, we do have to take a break. It's so good. You
Okay.
get it's
Okay.
but we have to take a brief break. But before we go back, we will be
Okay.
right back with Prophet Omar,
Yes.
and we will be right back with the
Okay.
Dr. Meleeka Clary Show on the Bold and Brave TV network. Stay.
What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick, Wednesdays 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave Media Network and TuneIn Radio. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
Welcome back to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show on the Bold and Brave TV network. Welcome back, my friends. Before we left, we were still talking with Prophet Dwayne Omar. Okay. You know what? When you started getting into the contracts and what your experience, can you enlighten me a little bit about what you was about to talk about?
Yeah. Let's see. I think this is around maybe 2007,
Uh-huh.
and I did. Me and my team actually put together um, a publishing deal for uh, a producer who's done Madonna. He's
Yes.
done. I mean, you name him, from Mike all the way on. And he wanted to get an advance against his contract because he had a contract that wasn't the greatest. So
Yes.
he hired us, and initially it was at 10% of whatever we got him. Where our goal was 50 million, we ended up getting him 25 to 27 million plus some other perks. And even though we had a contract, he didn't want to pay. What he did is the day before he got the check, he said, "I don't want the check. I changed my mind." Okay, fine. If you don't use our services, you don't have to pay, right? But then he went back and had his father sign it for him. And if it wasn't for the fact that he has a family, has children, I would just blast him right now. But I'm gonna let God work that one out, because
Wow.
back in the day we would have settled it a different
Okay.
way. Because 10% of 27 million is a lot of money. The
Yes,
last time I
yes.
counted, I got some bills I can pay with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But um,
Yeah.
so even
Yes.
if a contract's intact, it's only as good as the person that you did the contract with. My close friend, he just did $90 million deal with some people that's affiliated with Bruno Mars, and
Yes.
he got them the money, and they're supposed to pay a certain percentage. He got to sue them to get his money. He shouldn't have to do that. So he's not.
Wow.
So contracting, not if the people are no good,
That's right. And you
even
know
with
what? Yep.
contract.
That's
And,
right.
and and I'll tell you what they're using to their advantage now too. They know the courts are clogged, and they know it takes
Yeah.
forever to get a case through the court, and they figure
Yes.
you just go ahead and settle. But God don't like ugly. There's more
There
than
you
one way
go.
to skin a fish. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Yeah.
right. And you know what?
So
When you said that, and I agree with it. And vengeance is not yours, because
right,
God, the vengeance
right.
is His. You know what I mean? And when
Mm-hmm.
He does something, it's
Mm-hmm.
on time. That's why I say, folks,
Oh
if
yeah,
that's how you want to be, bye, Felicia. I like that
yeah.
little saying. You know what
Right,
I
right.
mean? I am
Yeah.
gone. I
Yeah.
have to quote that
Yeah.
because it doesn't need no more space in my life, because negativity,
Right.
and
Right.
you can't change somebody. That's how they want to be, but you can change who you keep around you, and that is important. So I'm glad you yeah,
Right.
that's an experience. That's really is a really interesting. Thank you for sharing that. You know what? I really want to know
Mm-hmm.
something about, because my show is developed in psychology, and I have to stress that all the time. One thing I like to ask people, because there's millions of viewers out there, and a lot of people go through a lot of things, and we all have challenges in our life. Has it ever been a challenge in your life that's something you had to overcome? You have to put your faith in it and come back to try to come back to being this person that you are. You have to bring yourself
Oh yeah.
back.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. I believe anyone who's on any quest to do anything in pursuit of something that's bigger than themselves will have that moment. For myself, this was like 95. I had just come back from the Bahamas. I was living in Nassau for a while. And I had just negotiated a little small deal for 2 million, and I got back to LA, and I was exhausted. I was tired of life. I just was tired, and I was looking at the team. I used to roll with about 17 people that I took care of, and they traveled with me and everything. And then their usefulness had basically um, it came to my attention that there's only about 3 of them worth keeping. And I looked around, and I remember I had this epiphany when I was right before I flew back. I got a call from what would be the equivalent to the front desk, but we had a bunch of bungalows on the beach. And they said, yeah, Mr. Omar, they said, we're just giving you a courtesy call, letting you know that room such and such, a room such and such charge $5,700 on incidentals on your card this week. And I said, really? I said, send it to me. So what happened is, once upon a time, above and beyond per diem, their weekly pay and meals, they would ask me if they wanted something above that, right? They started taking up on themselves to order stuff without asking, above and beyond what they should get. And it kind of pissed me off. Then I said, you know something? I'm sending everybody home except for Boom Boom, because they've been producing. They've been bringing them in good earners. And I got back to California, and then I started almost sunk into a little depression when I thought about all the money that I wasted flying all those folks all around, and money just going out. And only a handful of them were worth keeping around. And I, for a good probably 90 days, I just felt like I'm done. You get physically and emotionally tired. Emotionally first. It's best not to, like they say, don't cry over spilled milk. But I was in that crying over spilled milk stage, because I was looking, I said, I remember when 10 grand would last me a whole week. Now I'm going through it in hours.
Yeah.
And it's not even being spent on me, it's on other folks. And I ended up going to Northern California. Mm-hmm. And this is another whole story in itself, but I'm not going to go there unless you want that. And I connected with George Smith. He's Pebbles, singer Pebbles. She made the song Girlfriend. Her ex-husband. He was the first brother that I ever knew that owned his own bank. We hung out for a few months up there, and I ended up working with Tommy and Denny, who did In Vogue. And I was up there for a minute. So that was kind of like my cool off period. And then I kind of ended up where I started off, by myself again, starting from scratch. But I was just starting from a plateau, but it was still from scratch. I was rebuilding all over again, because I had to let everybody go.
Wow. Interesting. You know what? Hold on to that note. We're going to take a brief commercial, and we will be right back with the prophet, Dwayne Omar, on the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show on the Bold and Brave TV network. Don't go nowhere, guys. Come back.
Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality, but it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating? Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like, it was almost instant. Like, I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. It feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic on the BBM Global Network, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of The Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on The Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Mike Zorich, a 3-time California state champion in Greco-Roman wrestling at 114 pounds. Mike, blind since birth, was born in Hartford, Connecticut. He was a 6-time national placer, including 2 seconds, 2 thirds, and 2 fourths. He also won the Veterans Folk-Style Wrestling twice at 152 pounds. In all these tournaments, he was the only blind competitor. Nancy Zorich, a creative spirit whose talents have taken her to the stage and into galleries and exhibitions in several states. Her father, a commercial artist who shared his instruments with his daughter and helped her fine-tune her natural abilities, influenced her decision to follow in his footsteps. Ms. Zorich has enjoyed a fruitful career doing what she loves. Listen Saturday mornings at 12 Eastern for the Nancy and Mike Show for heartwarming stories and interesting talk on the BBM Global Network.
Welcome, my friends, back to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show on the Bold and Brave TV network. Welcome, welcome, my friends. Before we left, we were still talking to Prophet Dwayne Omar, and he was just finishing up and telling us a little bit about his challenges.
Oh yeah. So the time that I had a little break uh, was actually healthy for me because it's almost like you get to rinse and repeat, you know, and understanding that there are some people that you were never really supposed to do business with in the first place because there's eagles and there are pigeons. And the difference between the eagles and the pigeons, that pigeons are plentiful and all you got to do is throw a little bread out and there they go. But you never see eagles. You hardly ever see eagles because they don't fly, they soar and they hang out at higher places. So um, because I am identified as a rescuer, a lot of times I would, even give folks opportunities that normally I wouldn't. Uh, but um, but I do because that was just my way of giving back. But anyway, um, fast forward a little bit. When I came back from Northern California around '99, I was coming from the studio. I had been burning the candles at both ends probably about 9 days in a row. And then I was just tired. And I was driving from the studio to LAX airport. And I dozed for a second. Yeah, I don't know if you ever fallen asleep with your eyes wide open, and I'm looking and I'm reacting slow. And I had just enough time to decide, am I going to run into the back of my security or hit the telephone pole? So I swerved to the pole so I wouldn't hurt, I think his name was Steven. And the car folded on me like an accordion. I ended up crushing my left fibula. Um, and when I went to the hospital, I went to Damon Freeman Hospital. It just so happened that Kobe Bryant's orthopedic surgeon was there that night. And he was a brother. And I remember him because I hadn't seen nobody with a cool afro like that in a long time because, afros are from back in the day. But this was 99. And he told me, he said, Mr. Omar, he said, we don't put casts. We can't fix this. He said, this is too bad. We suggest amputation. That's when my spiritual side kicked in. And I remember the stuff that my mother taught me. She said, the things that are impossible with man are not impossible with God. So I replied after pondering what he said. And I pictured myself. I said, I don't see myself with one leg. I said, I respect what you're saying. I can't remember his name right now. I said, and you're a practicing physician. I need to go to the head physician. So I asked them to give me a Bible. And they gave it to me, but I was being a little ridiculed, like on a DL. So for 9 days, all I did is flip through the scripture, and I found myself stuck where Jesus spoke to a fig tree, and I said, if Jesus can talk to fig trees, I should be able to talk to my leg, because he said the works that I do, even greater works shall you do, because I go into the Father. So if that's the case, either his word is true or this is all fiction. And for 9 days, I had a regimen just like it was medicine. I spoke over my leg, I spoke over my bones, and I spoke over the injury. and I commanded it to regenerate, replenish, and function the way God originally intended for it to function. And in 30 days, I got out the bed and I was in a wheelchair. Another 30 days after that, I was on a walker. Another 30 days after, I was on a cane. I got discharged, and I was in Glendale, California, preaching from a pulpit. I walked off and left my cane and didn't realize it until I got home. And I'm fussing at the kids. You let me, leave my cane, the Ernie Isley joint, with the gold handle. I said, it cost me whoop-de-whoop, whatever. And I heard the voice say, if you can walk away from it, you don't need it. And I haven't had a cane since. Don't even
my
lie.
God is good. Oh my, wow. I mean, like,
Yeah,
wow. I mean, when I say this,
yeah,
it's because I can't, you don't want to imagine that kind of challenge.
yeah,
And the
yeah.
faith that you had and the determination to get back to walk, and I say to people, some people go through a lot of things and you never know what their story is going to be. You never know.
True.
And when you're used to walking and then all of a sudden you can't walk.
Yeah,
That's
right.
something that's like,
Yeah.
so did you go through a depression moment too?
I did when he first gave me that information, but then I had to get a hold of myself and say, wait a minute. The word of God says anxiety causes depression.
That's right.
So that saved a lot of people money right there if you just knew that. So, and he said, be anxious for nothing. So in my mind, I made up my mind, either I'm going to believe what he said, or my option is to believe what the doctor said. And I have nothing against doctors. If we didn't have doctors, there'd be a lot of people dead,
That's
But
right.
when they
That's
come
right.
and they collide, I have to make a decision which direction I'm going with. Most of the time they coincide, but this particular time was like he was convinced that the only answer was amputation. He said, and what made it even worse, he said, or gangrene was set in the wee hours in the morning, I'd probably have a heart attack and die. This is what I heard the night I went into the emergency room at Daniel Freeman. So either I had to rest my heart on that or go to the Word of God. And I went to the Word of God, and it worked for me. I told the Lord, I said, if you get me back on my feet, every opportunity I get to help other people, I will.
Wow.
And
You
I've
know
been
what?
holding true to that. And that's one of the reasons why I full-time ministry now.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Wow. And you know what? I'm going to take a break and we're going to take a brief commercial. Wow. We're going to take a brief commercial. We will be right back.
Did you know that your beliefs, what if there were a
Thank you.
what if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick, Wednesdays 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave Media Network and TuneIn Radio. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them. Read Rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies. Find settings that allow them to be the most productive and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBN Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
Welcome back to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show on the Bold and Brave TV network. Before we left for a brief commercial, we were still talking with Prophet Dwayne Omar, and he shared his amazing testimony, I want to really say, because things that he went through, I couldn't imagine. But with the faith of what I'm hearing, I know I will be okay. And you give me that, and I want to let you know that, Dwayne, you give me that, and I hope you give that to other people, because like I said, I'm trying to defeat mental illness, depression, anxiety, and I think by hearing your story, and people are going through so much, and it's
Right.
heavy, you know what I mean?
Right.
And you can't imagine, everybody have a story and everybody have a
Yes.
real problem, but it's getting back out of it and coming back
Mm-hmm.
to realism, and back on your feet and still continue the mission. And that is
Mm-hmm.
what I'm hearing, that you got back up and you said, hey, I'm going to do this thing, and I'm not going to let this defeat me. And I appreciate you
Right.
sharing and caring. And with that being said, I do want to ask you, do you have, how about if people want to reach you, what you're doing, because you are artists, what you have out there, how do they contact you?
The easiest way to contact me would be to go to the website, which is DwayneOmar.com. It's about as simple as it gets. This DWAYNEOMARR.com. If they want to hit us, every platform, we have a podcast called Advancing the Kingdom Podcast. It is on every platform by Prophet Dwayne Omar. On Amazon, I have the first adult coloring and sketchbook called Your Gift Making Room for You. And the Bible says, write your gift because your gift will be what will make room for you. If you need a lift, use your gift. So it's an adult coloring book. When I say adult, I don't mean it has like X-rated pictures. I'm just meaning it has pictures to be colored in, but by adults. It's not like Daffy Duck and none of that. It's positive affirmations, like I am not what you see, or I am more than a miracle, or I'm walking in my truth, or just various affirmations. And there's pictures alongside of it, and then there's an area for them to whatever that inspires them to write. Go ahead and write it, because I know for
Okay.
myself, every house I've ever owned, before I got the keys, I had a picture of that house on my refrigerator first. I seen it before I
Wow.
seen it, if you know what I mean.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, we know we'll
And
find
then
you, I'm
music on
sure.
every platform.
Okay,
Yeah.
good, good.
DwayneOmar.com is the easiest way, and that'll lead you to everything else.
All
And
right.
on the music side, if they're
Uh-huh.
interested in the Project Dominion thing I spoke of, to bring assemble a team around them, then they can reach out to me. I didn't call the office, which is 1-800-461-4920,
Okay.
and just hit option one. And it more than likely you'll get me if you hit option one, or you'll get some of the partners, but you'll end up, reaching me. And for
All
folks who
right.
are got everything
Well,
except for the team.
all right. Thank you so much, Prophet Dwayne Omar, for joining the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show. And if you want to tune in and look for me, Meleeka Clary Ghosh on Facebook or Twitter, or just drmeleekaclary.com. You can find me or follow me on LinkedIn or the group on Facebook with Dr. Meleeka Clary. And you just Google Dr. Meleeka Clary. You can follow me. I thank you, my friends, for tuning in. And you have a wonderful weekend to come. And if nobody said I love you, I love you. Thank you. God bless you all.
You've been watching the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show. Tune in next week as Dr. Meleeka will help you shift towards a better life. But this show doesn't stop there. She'll provide helpful tips regarding surviving the entertainment industry and the judicial system with practical information. Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern, here on the Bold Brave TV network.